Take a look at a Visual Basic for loop. And I'm going to start off here with a couple of values which are being declared. One is int n, and this is just a name that I've made up, which is it can only store integer values. So we dimension int m as an integer. In other words, we create a location in the computer's memory, and we're going to call it int m. And we can only store integers in that location. Same thing with int sum, and we can only store locations in that location. So we've got one more variable here, which we're going to kind of declare on the fly, which is int num. And this is part of our for loop. Our for loop says that we're going to start with a value, and we're going to go to we're going to start with a starting value, and we're going to go all the way to the ending value. This way, in this example, we're starting with 4 and we're ending with 6. Not very far to go, and we're just going to increment by 1 each time. So this is our loop. Starts with 4 and it ends with next. And then after we're all done with this, we're going to take these values inside and we're going to display them on our labels. And we're going to display int n, the final result of int m, in label 1. And we're going to display the final value of int sum onto label 2. So here we've got label 1, we've got label 2, and we've got our coding and our button here. I'm going to double click on this and get back to our coding window. So to start off with, let's go ahead and run this. I'm going to put I don't want it there, let me put it right here. And I'm going to debug, but I'm going to step into this. And the first thing it does is it builds our window here, and it's going to run our form, and haven't dressed this up very much. It just says label 1 and label 2 and button. So I'm going to click my button. This says button 1, when you click it, do everything that follows all the way to the end of our sub procedure. So I'm going to click this button and it declares this value, or let's go ahead and step into this. Debug, step into, and I'm just going to press function key F8, go to the next line. So it's declared these two values. Right now, when it's first declared, it has a value of 0. Same with this one. And int num has a value of 4 because it says start with this loop, start with this beginning value, and go all the way to this ending value. So int num is now equal to 4. So int n was 0. Remember that? We're going to add 1 to it and store it back into int n. So let's go to the next line and see if it does that. Okay, so it stored 1 in there. And on int num, the first time through, this value is 4. It adds 1 to it and adds that into int sum. Okay. So we're not done with our for loop because we're just on 4. Now, the next time through, we're stepping by 1, so the value is going to be 5. So let's see if int num is now 5. I'm hovering over that so you can see it. So we're going to go through the loop again, and this time int sum is 6 because it was 5 plus 1, and that's going to be 6. Go back into our loop, and now int num is 6. So this is the last time through the loop since that's the last value. So we're going to the last value, and now when we hit next int num, we're going to drop out of the loop because it comes back up here and tests this and says, okay, 6 was the last one. We're not going to go to 7, so we're done with this loop. So now we can jump down to the label, 1 and display whatever's in int n. Label 2, display whatever's in int sum. Okay. Now, what if we wanted to sum this up? What if we actually wanted to sum some value as we're going through? Well, you would change this to int sum. And this way, whenever it goes through here, it's going to take the current value of int sum, add it to the new value, whatever you're trying to total up, and store it back into int num. So as it goes through, it keeps accumulating the total. Okay. And we can dress this up a little bit too. How about if I put something on here like here is the sum, and concatenate that. Now, this needs to be shown as a string. This integer gets converted into a string so it can be displayed on a label. Anything that's displayed on a label should be text. Data type text or string. Data type string. Okay, so that should work okay for me. I'm going to play around with that and see if I can actually get what the assignment wanted us to do. All right, that'll do.